Is there a government cover-up that we are not alone in the universe? Tune into my talk show, Universal Talk, Saturday, January 23rd, 2010, where we will explore the evidence. We welcome back Stephen Bassett, the forefront advocate for the ending of the government-mandated embargo on the truth of extraterrestrial presence on Earth. He is also the executive director of the Paradigm Research Group and the Political Action Committee XPPAC. He created the Paradigm Clock and is the executive producer of the X Conference. Tune in as we will be discussing the disclosure movement, a year-end review of 2009, and what the future holds for the possibility of disclosure on Universal Talk, Saturday, January 23rd at 10 a.m.
Welcome to Universal Talk. On today's show, we will be discussing the disclosure movement with Stephen Bassett. We're welcoming Steve back on the show to discuss the year-end review and what the future holds for the possibility of disclosure. Steve is the forefront advocate for the ending of the government-mandated embargo on the truth of extraterrestrial presence on Earth. He's executive director of the Paradigm Research Group and the Political Action Committee XPPAC. He created the Paradigm Clock and is the executive producer of the X Conference. Hello, Stephen Bassett. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Welcome back on the show.
Happy to be back.
Hey, would you like to give us a synopsis of the year 2009?
Year 2009, obviously, with respect to matters ufological, UFO ET.
Yes.
Well, as most people know, it was a very difficult year for the United States. A lot of bad economic stuff happened. A lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people lost their homes, lost their pensions, lost their health care benefits. So it was a rotten year. The new administration has had an awful year as well. And for that reason, the disclosure time schedule, and as far as I'm concerned, got pushed back. So we didn't get disclosure in 2009. But we did have quite a bit of activity which has advanced the disclosure process and put more pressure on the government's policy of embargo. And we're probably have gotten closer to ending the embargo on this issue and resolving the basic UFO issue once and for all. So in that sense, it was a good year.
Right.
We had a number of countries that released more UFO files, including Denmark, United Kingdom, Uruguay, Sweden, and very notably, the Russian Navy announced it was declassifying its underwater encounters.
Wow.
Which is pretty dramatic stuff.
Right.
These are the nuclear submarines encountering objects traveling 200 miles an hour, 20,000 feet below the water. Which is, we don't, as far as we know, humans can't do that.
Right.
So that was very notable. And more countries are going to be releasing their files. In fact, New Zealand just announced that it's going to be releasing its UFO files. We're releasing a lot of UFO files into the arena, into the internet. So that's another country, brand new, just happened. The United States, of course, has not done that, and is not going to do that because it's at this point still going to be a disclosure nation, and that puts it in a different position these other nations. So we had tens of thousands of files released to the web. We had developments in China, developments in the Vatican. In China, we had the eclipse and a lot of sightings over some Chinese cities. The news got out into the Western press, which doesn't happen too often. And the eclipse that occurred on the 22nd of July was dramatic, and people saw craft, unusual stuff in the sky during that eclipse, filmed it. But then in September, the Chinese government let it be known that their national observatory had filmed it.
Wow.
And they were going to be studying that film. That was a very remarkable thing that they let that story out.
Right.
So I assume that was China basically saying that it's a player in this, just like when they shoot down a satellite. They're basically saying they're a player in weapons in space. And when they send up a moonshot, they're saying we're a player in space exploration. Well, they're also a player in disclosure. So notable. The Vatican had a very remarkable year. Father Gabriel Funes essentially confirmed and repeated what Monsignor Corrado Balducci had been saying right up until his death, but was not given proper credit because he was retired and old, and people thought maybe he was just being odd in his later years. Well, the young and current director of Vatican Astronomy has just confirmed in March everything that Balducci said about the Catholic Church comfortability with ETs, the fact that they're certainly not demons, and that they're just not that upset about it.
And that's pretty big itself right there.
Very significant. The Catholic